The US and Cuba have had one of the world's strangest relationships. Think of it, a Caribbean island nation of just 11 million people locked in a 50-year standoff with a superpower. But now with the reestablishment of ties and easing of a trade embargo, can these once bitter enemies become good neighbors? So here's how we got to the current situation. The US severed relations with Cuba in 1961 after its leader, Fidel Castro, allied Cuba with the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War. When the US failed to remove Castro with the Bay of Pigs invasion, it imposed a trade embargo, and that's how things stood for about a half a century. But then, relations between the two sides formally resumed in July 2015.
Today, I can announce that the United States has agreed to formally reestablish diplomatic relations with the Republic of Cuba.
The diplomatic thaw was made possible by a swap of imprisoned spies and Cuba's release of a jailed American contractor. As part of the deal with the US, Cuba's government promised to expand some freedoms and it released 53 political prisoners. But then afterwards, it stepped up arrests of dissidents. On the other side, Barack Obama used executive authority to make it easier for US citizens to travel to Cuba. And in May 2015, the US removed Cuba from its list of state sponsors of terrorism.
Now official, Cuba is being removed from the US State Department's terror watch list.
The US military base Gitmo was not part of the deal. Now, here's the argument. Obama says he wants the US trade embargo on Cuba fully lifted, but that would require an act of Congress.
In Cuba, we are ending a policy that was long past its expiration date.
Closer US ties could also help marginalize left-leaning Cuban allies like Venezuela. But opponents of normalization say Obama's only thrown a lifeline to a dying dictatorship.
Who else is unhappy with the president's decision? John Boehner, Mario Diaz-Balart, and more Republicans, most Republicans.
The bottom line, without support from Congress, Obama's changes could be undone by the next president.